Anahuac, the Boeing 767 crashed into Trinity Bay. This happened shortly before 12:45 this afternoon. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert on Atlas Air Flight 3591. Now we're waiting right now because the press conference should be coming up shortly with more information. They're going to be updating us. Again, the air traffic controllers lost radar and radio contact with the plane approximately 30 miles southeast of Bush Intercontinental Airport. Now, initial reports said 3 people were on board. We're still trying to learn right now if those 3 people survived or not. There's no confirmation on if anyone died just yet, but again, they're going to be holding a press conference soon. This is live pictures right now. This is debris from that plane in the Trinity Bay right now. This is air chopper video showing this crash site. Again, debris in the water. Our sister station KTRK is giving us this feed right now. We have multiple crews on scene. 12 News reporter Jordan Foster is going to be at that press conference that should be coming up momentarily. He's there right now trying to gather more information and seeing what all he can get from the ground. You can see airboats. Yeah, you can see how marshy this area is. You can see airboats. We're hearing from residents in the area. They're saying that the water levels right now have been pretty shallow in this area. Again, this is why you see those airboats out there. See the marsh, see them working, kind of trying to decipher and see what exactly happened, how this plane crashed. I mean, it could be hours before we find out. Again, that press conference will be coming up shortly to kind of give us the overview and details on what's going on. Now, this plane was coming from Miami to Houston to Bush Intercontinental Airport, and it crashed near in Trinity Bay. This is near Anahuac. This is what the plane looked like. It was a prime airplane. This is what it looked, a Boeing 767 Prime Air heading from Miami again to Bush Intercontinental Airport. Again, you just saw a live video. Here it is again of this crash site right now. There's debris all in the water. There's airboats. So a little bit of wider view. Yeah, wow. That is, wow. Yeah, those are some hard pictures and hard things to see right now, guys. Again, 3 people were on board. No information on if they survived this crash or not. We are working to try and determine. We are hoping and praying that these guys on board, guys or gals, whichever on board, survived this. This is really hard to look at right now. Again, this is a Boeing 767 Prime Air. Just saw pictures of it a while ago. It was coming from Miami to Bush Intercontinental Airport. Right now we're still waiting on the press conference right now. It will actually be right here momentarily. This is a live look right now. Total News reporter Jordan Foster. He's going to be live at that press conference. He will be giving us an update later tonight at 6, so make sure you stick around with us on air. Also, 12 News reporter Sheriff Cobbs and 12 News reporter Jordan James are on scene. They're gathering more information, trying to talk to people in the area who may have seen something, trying to gather more information, kind of tell us what's going on. And we're going to be staying on the air to kind of update you again to see, waiting for this press conference again. This is a live look right now at the debris in the water from this plane crash. 3 people were on board. We're still trying to find out their fate on if they survived this plane crash or not. We're hoping that they did, but we don't know at this time. Not really sure if that plane was carrying, what they were carrying, if they were carrying anything, or if they were just coming back from somewhere. We're trying to gather more information. Right now, again, let y'all know they're using airboats in the area, probably because a lot of people in the area have been telling us that the water levels right now are pretty low. So getting boats in and out is a little bit harder to do. So they've been using the airboats because it's a lot easier for them to get in and out. Again, this plane crash happened around 12:45 this afternoon. We've been covering this since the story broke. We are going to continue to cover the story. Waiting on that press conference right now for them to update us on more information. I'm going to let y'all take a look real quick. This is the FAA statement that they posted earlier today on Twitter. It says a twin-engine Boeing 767 cargo jetliner operated by Atlas Air Incorporated crashed near Anahuac today shortly before 12:45. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert notice after losing radar and radio contact. Now, this is a Boeing 767. Again, that's approximately 30 miles southeast of George Bush Intercontinental Airport. The aircraft again was flying from Miami to Houston. 3 people were on board. So all the information we know right now, their fate, we have not learned. We don't know if that's what's going to be one of the things that they're going to update us on. Again, these are those images. Right now, this is our sister station, helicopter flying over this crash site. Again, 3 people on board. We're not really sure if they survived this plane crash or not. I'm sure we're going to be getting an update on that shortly from that press conference. Again, Jordan Foster is there. He will be live at this press conference we are waiting on momentarily. Go back. Okay, we're now hearing reports the plane went down around 12:30. So it's a little bit earlier than normal. Not really sure what the cause of this. Not sure if it was engine failure. Don't know if the weather may have played a factor on what happened. Again, we're just working right now, waiting for that press conference to get more information. Again, can we show real quick the picture of the plane? Again, you see right there a lot of search crews, a lot of people out there trying to. Yes, there are many agencies involved in this, trying to figure out what happened. Again, we don't know why this plane went down, but we do know that, again, this is in the Trinity Bay near Anahuac. A lot of crews, search and rescue, hopefully out there trying to see what's going on. We'll know more in the press conference shortly. And can we bring a picture up real quick of what the plane looked like before?
Just a minute.
Okay, we're working on getting that picture right now. Again, this is a live look from our sister stations, helicopter KHOU, showing ground crews. You see a lot of them gathered in one area right now. I'm sure they're talking about their next steps and what they're going to be doing.
Here's the plane.
And again, this is what the plane looked like before. It's a Prime Air. Again, this is from Miami. It's heading from Miami to Bush Intercontinental Airport. Hearing 3 people were on board. We do not know their fate at this time.
If you're just tuning in, we're going to stay on the air because of this breaking news.
Okay. And if you're just tuning in right now, we're going to stay on the air for this breaking news. We're actually waiting for a press conference to update us on what's going on. So what we know right now is that a cargo plane has crashed into the Trinity Bay. Now, this happened about 12:30 this afternoon. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert on Atlas Air Flight 3591. This is a live look right now. Rescue teams, multiple agencies involved in this to see to gather information. We're waiting on a press conference. They're going to be updating us with more information. It was a Boeing 767. This is the Trinity Bay that you're looking at right now on your screen. This is a live look from our sister station. They're going to widen out this shot right now. It's just a look. You can see all the debris in the water. Guys, it's just really hard to look at something like this, knowing that there were people on board. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert on Atlas Air Flight 3591. Air traffic controllers lost radar and radio contact with the plane. It was about 30 miles southeast of Bush Intercontinental Airport, and that plane was coming from Miami to Houston Bush Intercontinental Airport. Again, 3 people were on board that plane. We're working right now to try and gather more information. We do have multiple crews on scene. Right now, on the left you see here, that is where the press conference is going to be. That is what we're waiting on right now. And on the right, you're going to see a live look of the debris in the water. This is from our sister station's helicopter KHOU flying over the crash site right now. Again, we're just waiting on that press conference. 12 News reporter Jordan Foster is there. And 12 News reporter Sheriff Cobbs and Jordan James are also on scene. They are going to be trying to talk to witnesses to see kind of what happened, see if anyone saw anything, and kind of get their reaction out there, because I know this is pretty hard for this community to see something like this, for those people in the area. I mean, I know it's hard for me to kind of sit here and watch and see. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is a Boeing 767 Prime Air. It crashed into Trinity Bay. This is what you're looking at right now. You're looking at Trinity Bay. On the left side of your screen was their press conference going to be held. The right side, the crash site. This happened around 12:30 this afternoon. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert on Atlas Air Flight 3591. That plane was traveling from Miami to Bush Intercontinental Airport. debris all in the water. You can see right now a large number of people are gathered. I'm sure they're trying to get more information, kind of letting them know what they're going to be doing for the day to kind of get the information and stuff that they need.
Sounds like we're in a holding pattern for the press conference, not happening yet.
Okay, right now, press conference is not happening. We're in a holding pattern. It looks to me, I believe.
Recap what we know.
Okay. It looks like that one on the, yeah, I think it's frozen right now. We've lost signal in the press conference right now, but again, on the right side, you can see, yeah, we're going to take that full on what's going on. We're going to recap real quick if you're just now tuning in and want to know what's going on. This is a crash site near Anahuac. This is in the Trinity Bay. Now, a Boeing 767 crashed. This happened just before, or around, excuse me, 12:30 today. The Federal Aviation Administration issued an alert on Air Flight 3591. Now, traffic control lost signal and radar with this plane about 30 miles southeast of Bush Intercontinental Airport. That plane coming from Miami to Houston. It was a Prime Air, again coming from Miami to Houston, and it crashed 30 miles southeast of Bush Intercontinental Airport. 3 people were on board. Right now we don't know their fate. We're trying to determine that. We're waiting for this press conference. Seems to be on hold right now, but as soon as that becomes, we're going to head straight out to that press conference. Wow, this is the crash site. A lot of debris in the water.
I'm going to be coming out and miking up to join you. I'm not going on camera, but I'll just be filming.
Again, this is the debris in the water. Looks like they've got somebody's going out right now. They've got airboats. A couple of residents in the area have been telling some of the people we've got out on scene right now that the water levels have been a little bit lower, so they're having to use airboats out there right now to get more information. We're waiting on that press conference. Again, you're looking right now in Trinity Bay. This is a live look from our sister station's helicopter of the plane Boeing 767. It's a cargo plane that crashed. This is near Anahuac. We've been following this story since it broke earlier today. Again, this happened around 12:30 this afternoon. All right, if you're just tuning in, again, what you're looking at right now, this is a live look. This is at Trinity Bay. This is where a Boeing 767 plane crashed into Trinity Bay. This is a live look right now from our sister station's helicopter. It's showing all the debris in the water. We do know 3 people were on board at this time. We do not know their fate. They will be holding a press conference soon, so we should be learning more information about what's kind of going on. Again, here's a live look on the left side of your screen right there. You're seeing where that press conference is going to be held. So we're going to have that shortly. 12 News reporter Jordan Foster is on scene right now. He's gathering information, but will also be at that press conference, and he'll have a live report coming up tonight at 6 from that press conference and from what he has been gathering during that time. We're back out to the debris right now. As you can see, this is in Trinity Bay. This happened around 12:30 today. Boeing 767 Prime Air. It was flying from Miami to Bush Intercontinental Airport. Went down into Trinity Bay.
Kelsey, I'm here with you guys as well. This is Jordan Williams. I'm the Assistant News Director here at 12 News, and certainly watching and monitoring the feeds that are coming in right now with you. Again, this was an Amazon Prime Air flight, a Boeing 767. As you see on the left side of your screen, some of the reporters and photographers putting those mics in place, Kelsey, awaiting this news conference. We'd expected it to start about 30 minutes ago. Appears we may have the Chambers County Sheriff there as well. Control room folks, let's listen in on this as they begin.
All right, I'm Brian Hawthorne. I'm the elected sheriff of Chambers County, Texas, and standing here on my left is Jim, judge of Chambers County, Texas. So behind me, and when I say behind me, I mean almost directly behind me, probably about 1 mile, is a debris field of about probably 3/4 of a mile of a major airliner. We're not going to discuss the company because we're not even sure, because it's at this point it's total devastation. We've been out there since we've been on the scene trying to look for survivors. At this point in time, we haven't been able to find any survivors or any remains. I feel like it's probably a crash that nobody would be capable of surviving. The debris field runs essentially from east to west. We do understand that it is a 767, a Boeing 767. We first started getting 911 reports that watched it go nose first into the bay. It's in a location called Jack's Pocket. Jack's Pocket is at the north end of Trinity Bay in Chambers County. It was en route to Houston Intercontinental Airport, as I have been told. We had also received confirmation phone call from the Federal Aviation Administration that they had lost the airplane on radar. So at that time we knew quite sure that we did have a downed aircraft. That's pretty well it. I can take some questions, and I'll do anything I can. And if you have any questions on the assets of the county's given the NTSB full assets. I know the FBI is on its way out here. We currently are securing the scene with as many boats. Parks and Wildlife, Texas Parks and Wildlife has helped us. We're also bringing in the Texas Department of Public Safety dive team to help try and recover any remains in the black box and anything dealing with the aircraft.
What are the conditions like out there on the water? You were out in the boat, correct?
Yes, correct.
What are conditions like out there?
And the visibility.
So the visibility is not bad. It's actually pretty nice right now. The fog is lifted. As many of you know, if you live around here, we've had some pretty tough fog lately, but it has lifted, and you can clearly see the debris field. The problem that we're going to have, that everybody's going to have in this recovery process, is that the water goes from about 5 feet deep to 0. And that 0 feet deep is nothing but mud marsh. It's best known for its duck hunting. And so it's not going to be an easy recovery task for us to do. It's like I say, it's in the middle of the bay in the marsh grass.
Are you saying, Sheriff, it's mired in the mud there?
Well, it's some of it is mired in the mud. We've got debris, landing gear, things like that are scattered all over.
Is there anything visible intact of the plane itself?
Nothing intact of the airplane.
What is the environmental impact that you have seen so far from this crash?
I'm sorry, one more time.
What is the environmental impact
So,
you've seen?
so I would tell you that the environmental impact is extremely minimal, which obviously the judge and I are glad. Very little fuel on the water, if any. You can smell a little fuel as you are trying to approach it to get to it. You have to run about 3/4 of a mile down this channel to come back around to it because it's so shallow. It's not an easy boat ride. It's about a 20-minute boat ride to it.
So, Sheriff, it was not a cargo plane?
It was a cargo
It was a
plane,
cargo
we
plane.
believe, 767 cargo plane.
Okay, and was there a distress call made by the pilot before this happened?
So I have not got confirmation from the Federal Aviation Administration on those issues, so I don't want to say for sure, Gloria, whether there is. I do believe there may have been, but I don't quote me on that because I haven't got it directly. I don't want to report anything that I don't actually have the facts on.
Sheriff, is there any indication of what may have occurred or what you're looking at to figure out what occurred to bring that plane down?
You know, I'm a sheriff, so I wouldn't even want to speculate. You know, Chambers County is kind of famous for its inbound route for a lot of planes come from the East Coast, especially if there's a northern breeze like what we have right now. So it's pretty common that this is definitely one of the traffic routes for intercontinental.
Go ahead and describe again the depth of the water there. You said it's
probably runs from 5 feet to mud marsh.
So it's a very shallow.
Very, very shallow. You pretty well have to use airboats.
And just one more time, can you describe the scene? I mean, when you first got out there, kind of what you saw and stuff like that.
Well, the first thing that I saw the minute I got out there was just floating debris. Everything from bed sheets to women's clothing to cardboard boxes to a lot of fiberglass. Not sure what the actual cargo was. I'm sure we'll learn here shortly what the cargo was. And then as we got closer, then we started seeing plane debris. But I would say that the largest chunk of the plane that I could actually visually put my eyes on is probably not much larger than about 50 feet. Now, who knows what's under the water that we can't see, but it looks like total devastation from the aircraft part.
And just one more time, appeared to be in a package? Were there packages there as well?
Everything appears to just be floating loose. Obviously, and the witnesses told us it pretty well went in nose first. So.
And how long do you expect to be out here?
We will probably be out here for weeks, I'm sure.
And just one more time, the condition of survivors, what you know as far as personnel?
Well, at this point in time, I've been told there were probably 3 personnel that were flying and operating the plane. Obviously, that NTSB, I'm sure, will confirm that with the company. But knowing what I saw, I don't believe anybody could survive it.
Sheriff, what have witnesses described?
Well, we've had a number of accounts. Some of them said they could hear the surging of the engines. A number of them knew something was wrong. They thought they were actually hearing lightning, but it appeared to be this plane. I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. I apologize. But there's no doubt he was having some kind of problem, with the airplane, according to the eyewitnesses, and then it turned and went into a nosedive.
So people actually saw it go down.
Yes.
And
yes.
you said, and it appears that it ended up being a nosedive situation.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
So,
you have no idea.
in fact, if you were standing here, you would have seen the plummet of the water come back up from the accident.
They don't know how high it was when it went down. Did they say about how high?
The altitude.
It was pretty low, but I personally have not had a chance to visit with those people that eyewitnessed it, because I got down here, I got in a boat and went out looking for survivors.
Sheriff, were there any signs of smoke?
Not that I've heard, Deborah. I haven't heard any. I haven't heard any.
Do you
So,
have any idea of how many witnesses you might have right now?
I would say we probably have at least a half dozen. So, probably anybody that was in this park saw it.
So Sheriff, it could be UPS or FedEx or Amazon. It could be any of those companies that deliver.
I feel like
large
it may be a
loads?
subcontractor of theirs, maybe. From what I've seen, it did not appear to be one of the major carriers that I'm familiar with.
Do you know if the crew report an emergency situation or a Mayday situation to the traffic controller?
I don't want to speak to that because I don't have any first-hand knowledge. I was told that there was a distress, but I personally know nothing of it. All right.
How long do you think that it was out there before people actually were able to access the plane?
I would say probably 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, there may have been some people that got over there in boats that may have been out there fishing. But by the time any of us from Parks and Wildlife or the Sheriff's Office got up there, it was probably at least 30 minutes.
And we heard that there were actual civilians on boats out there helping you guys.
That is correct.
How many people, and do you know if they just came on their own or how that will happen?
Well, we're Hurricane Harvey survivors. So when they called me and told me that we had a major aircraft, I made some phone calls, and people that helped us in Harvey were out there helping us, trying, because we were hoping there would be survivors. So.
How many boats?
Well, I know of at least 3 airboats of civilians that were out there, but I'm sure there were many more than that. So.
Sheriff, can you tell us who is responding right now?
The NTSB is on the way. I think the FBI just got on the scene here. The Coast Guard has already been here. They have been helping us trying to locate the black boxes. Parks and Wildlife and the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Is it standard procedure for the FBI to be coming right away?
I would say yes. I think any kind of a major aircraft incident like this, I think all the federal resources are put into it. So we're going to the county judge has offered the county's airport hangar for them to use to collect debris, and then we are also setting them up in our Legion Hall in this park right here to use as a command center till they need something else. So.
Who will be the official PIO for this event?
Well, I would say for right now, it will definitely either be myself or the county judge.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So, you bet.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Absolutely. All right. Thank y'all.
In terms of updates, do you know how often you might be giving them?
You know, I would say that the NTSB had told me that they were going to keep the judge and I involved in all of their communications and their meetings. So I will tell you that as any new information comes out, I don't mind putting out doing either a press release or I'll put it up on my Facebook that we're going to do another press conference.
Okay, so you'll give us a pretty good heads up before that?
Yes, yes. Okay. I realize it's an hour from Houston.
But you don't expect any more today?
So
from you.
I would say not unless something happened out there that we found something of interest.
And
all right.
As for the people on board, I mean, I know you guys are still searching. Do you know what happens next for that? I mean, you just continue searching?
Well, we'll continue searching. We're going to keep a pretty big complement of men, a large men out there, so that we don't have any people that just, as you or I might call looky-loos, that want to go out there, because at this point, we have no idea how important a piece of information may be for the NTSB. So obviously we're going to do everything we can to secure the scene. So, all right. Thank y'all. You bet.
All right. In live to Chambers County Sheriff Brian Hawthorne updating us on the crash of this cargo plane in the Trinity Bay there near Anahuac. It went down around 12:30 this afternoon. You heard the sheriff saying that they've already interviewed witnesses, and the witnesses heard what they thought was the rushing of the plane's engine. Some of them even thought it was lightning. Yeah. Kelsey Johnson watching this with me as well. And we've got live pictures from our sister station showing the debris field. The sheriff describing this as a scene of total devastation. He says they've had crews out there trying to search for survivors, but at this point, no signs of survivors or remains. And 3 people were on board this cargo plane. We heard it was flying from Miami to Bush Intercontinental Airport. It had planned to land there around 1 o'clock this afternoon. The FAA air traffic controllers lost contact, Kelsey, with that plane minutes before. Again, we're looking at live pictures. We've heard from the sheriff, Sheriff Hawthorne there in Chambers County, about how wide and far-reaching the response has been in the past couple of hours with all the different agencies.
Yeah, we've got the FBI, the Coast Guard is there right now. DPS, their dive team, is out there right now trying to look for survivors. They're actually looking for those black boxes that actually are going to be able to tell you what happened with this plane. We've also got Texas Parks and Wildlife. They say they're actually going to be out there for weeks trying to cipher through all this debris. Again, that marsh right there that you're seeing on your screen, it's very shallow out there, which makes it really difficult, they were saying, for them to kind of search through, because they're having to start digging up in mud.
Yeah, and as the photographer there in the chopper zooms in, you can see how challenging this recovery effort will be. We heard the sheriff say they're going to be placing pieces of the plane, the fuselage, whatever they can recover in the Chambers County Airport hangar. This investigation, as you said, going to take weeks. The recovery likely will be in the weeks as well, as you see such a large debris field in a muddy marsh, a marsh that in some places is 4 or 5 feet, in other places you could stand in and it wouldn't come to your knees.
Yeah, and they're saying they've been talking to witnesses also. That plane nosedived, as Jordan said earlier. You know, it sounded like lightning. They could hear it. Said if you were close enough, you probably would have seen the splash this plane made. Witnesses on scene saying that plane went down nose first. Some people asking about what this means for the environmental issues in the area. Said not a lot of fuel was spilled, which is a good sign for the environment. You can see, I think right there, that of course that's part of the plane. That looks like maybe part Amazon logo, maybe?
It may be part of the Amazon logo. You heard the sheriff was not willing to speculate about what company or what contractor owned this. We've seen tweets out there that this is from an Amazon Prime Air flight, a Boeing 767, so a large cargo plane. Neither Kelsey nor I are aircraft experts, but based on the research I've done here in the last little bit, I mean, this is a plane similar in size to like a 737 that we would fly on, from what I can see. So we're talking a large plane. There's a photo on the screen, tweeted by one of our Tegna colleagues at one of our sister stations. Not the actual plane as far as we can tell, but a plane very similar, if not the plane. And again, there is that that back logo that Eric Brill spotted in the wreckage. I want to bring in our 12 News meteorologist, Eric Brill, and get some perspective right now on what the weather was like between 12:30 and 1 o'clock this afternoon when this plane went down. Eric, what do you think about the weather situation?
So when it comes to different plane wrecks and things like that, the first thing that I always wonder is, all right, obviously, what was the weather like? And when I look at radar with this specific situations, we had the cold front that did move through southeast Texas earlier this afternoon. And you could see specifically there were some showers and thunderstorms that were over near the Mont Bellevue as well as Baytown areas. The thing I really want you to focus on as this storm really starts to fall apart, it's not quite as organized, it distributes or it has a gust front come out ahead of it. All that energy that had been up within that thunderstorm starts to come down and ultimately kind of pushes a big old blast of air just ahead. That's called a gust front. This faint blue line that you do see starts to move from the west to the east. Notice it does go through Trinity Bay as well as Anahuac. And look at the time frame on the upper right-hand portion of your screen. You see that it does move through the Anahuac area at about 12:30, 12:45 in that general time frame. A little bit closer of a look. In this specific loop here, it's a little bit more condensed. It's not quite as much of a large time frame. Notice it does move through that Anahuac area by about 12:30, 12:45. Why is this relevant? Well, obviously, if a plane's coming through this general area and all of a sudden it has a big rush of wind coming at it, that's going to ultimately affect the different ability for the pilot to be able to fly. Now, you can't, at this point, obviously, I can't say that this is exactly the issue that ultimately led to this plane going down, but there's no way when this gust front came out and ultimately ushered ahead that wind that it did itself any sort of favor. So this is something that I think that the FAA and a lot of different people within the NTSB are probably going to be looking at as far as what the weather conditions were. And it looks like at this point there was a gust front that ultimately ushers a lot of strong airs out ahead of a thunderstorm that maybe, at the least, it definitely didn't help out the pilots whatsoever as they unfortunately went through this general, this weather field. And keep in mind too that this plane was coming from Miami to Bush Airport, so it was flying in that general northwest direction, going right through the Anahuac. As you heard the county officer say that this was a typical hotspot that these planes do go through, but right through the Anahuac area, that's where we did have that specific little gust front come through. And like I said, you get that strong usher of winds, it definitely didn't help out the weather conditions as well as the pilots that were there. I'm going to throw it back over to Kelsey as well as Jordan for a little bit more information that they might be able to relay to you guys. Well, we're going to show folks, Eric, thank you, and an excellent analysis there as the authorities there from the NTSB arrived, the FAA, the Coast Guard, we've got the DPS dive team, and again, you're looking live at Trinity Bay in the Anahuac area where this cargo plane crashed this afternoon. Such a large debris field. Kelsey, the sheriff said the recovery efforts may take weeks.
Total devastation out there. We've got 3 people on the plane. Right now, they're not sure. They're believing that there are no survivors in this crash. Of course, they can't confirm any of that until they're hoping that they can recover. You know, they're talking maybe about possibly covering their remains. And of course, recap real quick. This happened around 12:30 today. This is a Boeing 767 from Miami to Houston. This is, you're looking at right now, live look of the debris in Trinity Bay. Again, 12:30 this afternoon, plane crashed coming from Miami to Houston, about 30 miles southeast of Bush Intercontinental Airport. And we're going to continue to follow this all throughout the day. We've got 3 crews out there. We've got 12 News reporter, we've got Jordan Foster, we've got Sheriff Cobbs, and Jordan James. They are all going to be out there gathering information, talking to people. Again, you can follow us on our app. Just search 12 News Now. We're going to be sending out push alerts all day. You can get live looks, all that kind of stuff, just to keep informed. We're going to keep you informed. Right now, we're going to send you back to programming. Again, check us out tonight at 6. We're going to also be doing, if we get any updates, we're going to be breaking into your programming. So just be aware of that if you see that, to kind of give you an update on what's going on right now.
I wanted to tell folks, we really appreciate your patience. We wanted to bring you this, obviously, a story that is of national significance this afternoon. So we appreciate you staying with us. And as Kelsey reiterated, we don't anticipate being on the air again until we have new information. So we expect to be back at 6 o'clock on 12 News ABC. Again, for now, we'll send you back to your regular programming.